Well, this Jeopardy champion is back on the show, but this time the tables have turned.
And now, here is the guest host of Jeopardy, Buzzy Cohen.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tournament of Champions. I am so honored to be here to guest host and pay tribute to the incomparable Alex Trebek, with whom I shared incredible moments with right here on this stage.
We're going to share some incredible moments with our next guest. I'm going to try my announcer voice. He's not going to be impressed. And here with us this morning, Buzzy Cohen!
Thank you. I am so thrilled to be here at PIX11.
How was it? No? Okay, I'll stop.
It was great.
I will
No, it was
not.
great.
I will not use an announcer voice again. But before we get to this hosting gig, which is just amazing, did you figure out the Tooth Fairy situation? Is that under control?
We solved it. I mean, my kid's up, so I'm trying to be quiet about it. But she is a big fan of Hamilton, the musical, and so her favorite bit of money is a $10 bill. So she got a Hamilton for the Tooth Fairy being late. So thank you for checking in on that.
Of course,
it was touch and go there for a minute.
I'm glad, because you were telling your fans, because all of us that know that you're hosting know what happened. So, and then you owe your children a lot, because you were saying that they used to scream out that you're going to be you're going to be a guest host, and then they celebrated when you actually got it. So how is this being back to your Jeopardy family?
It was like coming home in this wild way. Like, that set is my happy place. I cannot say it more clearly. Like, every time I set foot on that set, I'm just filled with joy. So I'm always looking for any opportunity to be back there. I never, ever dreamed that I could stand behind Alex's lectern and guest host even one episode. Mm-hmm. And so getting to do the Tournament of Champions is an absolute dream come true. I'm over the moon. My family's over the moon. I'm getting texts that my dad is running around. They've retired to Florida, and they're running around Florida telling anybody who will listen how excited they are for me.
All right, so you're the 2017 Jeopardy Tournament of Champion. You're the champion, right?
I like to say grand champion, but that's not an official title.
Forgive me, Grandmaster, Grand Champion. Forgive me. So you are the champion. So now that you've been there, you see how it is. You've been on both sides of the table now. So when you ask the questions, do you, in your head, as the trivia whiz that you are, answer the questions along in your head?
Well, it's certainly easier for me because I'm so familiar with this material. I will say I studied a lot for my first appearance, especially for my Tournament of Champions. Every time I've gone on, I've pushed my preparation and studying harder. And so because I've studied all this stuff, I have a familiarity with it. So even if I don't exactly know the answer, like, once somebody says it, I quickly recognize it. And so it's been very, very easy for me. But yes, there have been times where people have missed stuff, and I'm like, come on, guys, you know this. This is Jeopardy 101. But I also know I've been up there, and when you've got the buzzer in your hand and the lights are on and the pressure's on, you can't always come up with everything. It's a lot easier, I'll say, having the piece of paper with the answers right in front of you. I much prefer that.
All right, so I'm sure that you've seen the reaction. You're going to be hosting through May 28th, I believe, and I'm sure you've seen the reaction so far from fans, because people are saying his style, his personality is so on point for this job. No, because I've seen, you know what I mean? I'm not just like making, I tell lies, sometimes I make stuff up, I'm not making this up. People are saying that you should be the permanent host. So what is how are you feeling about it? Because I know you said if they ask you to, you're going to do it in a heartbeat. But what does it feel like to see that you have the support of fans? Because these are very big shoes to fill.
I'm honestly, like, every day I am so overwhelmed with the fan reaction. Like, especially the first day, I was really nervous. I didn't even really remember how I did because I was so in it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was walking my dog and looking, opened up Twitter, and suddenly, it starts pouring in, and I sat down on the sidewalk and cried a little bit. I was so I love this show. I've loved this show since I was very young, growing up in the tri-state area. What's up? And I just always wanted to be a part of this show, and I really, really wanted to do the best job I could for the fans and also for these champions, for their tournament. My Tournament of Champions was an absolute highlight of my life, and I wanted to make sure that they had as great an experience as possible. And the fact that the fans are feeling that and seeing that is just, I don't have words for it. I'm just so happy.
And I also love the fact that you're so humble and just enjoying yourself. We can tell that you're enjoying yourself. You make it look easy, although we know it's not. And I also love that you also gave a shout out to Mr. Trebek. God rest his soul, because you said you guys had this rapport. You guys had so much fun.
Yeah.
He loved you. And to see that you're doing this is just crazy how life works. And you're back where you started. And we cannot wait to see more of you. And just in case it does happen for you, I'm going to work on my announcer voice in case the actual announcer is gone. So when they make you the permanent host, you can call me in. Or
I will let them know.
But by the way, I'm sure the guys on set want to know where you get your suits, because you're pretty fancy. Dan, I'm sure you do want to know. Ben, do you want to know?
Sure.
You're one heck of a dresser, seriously.
Yeah,
I thought I dressed well, Buzzy, but you're one heck of a dresser. Where'd you get them?
So my dad actually owned a clothing store in New Jersey for years. He was the third generation. And so he used to make suits for me for my appearances on the show. So even now, he ended up retiring. He closed the store. Before he did, he made me 8 suits. So I have plenty of suits. The stylist for the show went out and got a few more, but we ended up using a lot of that. But it's a combination of just great men's suits and some fun, ties. I went to some vintage stores to get some interesting ties, but it's my whole thing is like, I'm very reverent. I love the show. I'm very into knowing stuff, but I also love having fun. And I try to, kind of embody that in my style too.
Yeah.
It's like a suit with a floral tie. That's like,
So
it's
great.
me.
All right, I'll call your dad.
Very
Definitely.
dapper.
Sam's
He's in
Livingston.
Florida telling people about Buzzy.
Livingston? I don't live too far away. All right.
Oh, here we go.
No, isn't he in Florida telling people about you being on Jeopardy?
Yeah, so he
Okay, there
retired
he
a few
is.
years
So
ago.
We'll
We'll have to go down to Florida now.
Well, we're going to yank him out of retirement.
Yeah, you can go to Rothman's. I know those guys too. They're great.
All right, I'll
All
tell him
right,
Buzzy.
so
said.
Tell
Buzzy
Buzzy
it
sent
is.
ya. Look at
Buzzy,
Buzzy.
let me
Yeah.
just tell you, we are so happy to see you in
Thank you
this
so
role.
much.
You were amazing in it. You were meant for this. Congrats. And guys, you can check him out hosting Jeopardy through the Tournament of Champions tonight and all next week. That's May 28th.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Good job,
appreciate it.
Buzzy.
I love you
Congrats.
guys.